There's one after it, June 5th.
We realize state and we republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Three on the agenda, the approval of the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to approval.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Kyle, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next we'll move on to item number 4, this is the public forum. This is an opportunity for citizens to present items to the council that are not on the agenda. Each presentation will last 3 minutes and action will be 15 seats are set aside. If you're a follow-up in the city, staff will arrange for time. If you'd like to speak for public forum, please make your way to the podium, state your name and address, and the concern. I will ask again, if anybody would like to step forward for public forum, please make your way to the podium. I will ask for a third final time if anyone does give public comment. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5.1, the city of York City contracted conduct and fire.
In front of you, you'll see the contracted aid between Rush City and Pine City. I just received it just a few minutes before we started, so I was just reading over it too. There is, this was sent over by Rush City. There is a part that has been changed by Rush City. They're adding a clause to, if you look on the last page, the charges to be requesting. They are adding a clause here where should they be there longer than, I want to say 8 hours, she put in here. There will be a charge. And she explained that to be, should they be able to file a claim with FEMA, or if there was a natural disaster, they'd be eligible to get reimbursed for that from FEMA. So,
Since we just got it, could I suggest that we take maybe 5 minutes to read through it and then come up with questions we can have? Since we just got it.
I do have, another question, have we compared it to the original contract? Like, you know,
no,
and that red line
yeah,
changes kind of thing.
so beyond the PDF.
If you, and the old one and we get that.
Yeah,
to us too. So if we have a question, we can refer to that. Thanks, Marcy.
does everyone have a laptop in front of them? Okay. So I want to go to OneDrive and get the signed one. Would it be there?
I can take it out too, but I can't do that.
City Hall contracts?
Yes.
Okay. Fire contracts? Fire aid. Fire aid.
Is there any way you can forward me the email with?
Yep, I will download it.
So that's,
Oh, thank you. Save. This is it. Add Gina. Gina. Okay.
oh, jeez.
Mhm. I'm gonna do the compare. Did I send it to you?
Mhm.
I got a question for Tom. This FEMA request there, what they're talking about FEMA. for the agreement. If the assistant is more than 8 hours, we do it on time. FEMA disaster assistance. How does that work? I mean, are we gonna be able to bill for whatever this fire was or disaster?
They specifically had it dialed in for FEMA disaster assistance, but what normally happens is if, say, there was a tornado or a flood or something like that in the area, it's through the sheriff's department, through the county coordinators, emergency coordinators and stuff, we filed FEMA claims in the past. And sometimes they're paid, sometimes they're not.
So are we obligated if they send us a bill or that happens to pay that? Who answers that question?
It says, right, it says on the bottom line, it says Pine City would reimburse Rush City for the cost of
If-
assistance.
So
If or when they are reimbursed by FEMA.
is that enough?
From my understanding, if FEMA gets involved, we would bill all the resources, trucks and equipment and everything right on the check. And we would send their portion over to Rush City, which I think is fair, because if it gets to a FEMA level event, there's some pretty significant things going on.
Right.
I have concerns with this because at the federal level, the executive boards and fees issued to be taken apart. So we don't have an entity that exists still. How are we gonna read? We can't count on that entity being. Well, the item would have to qualify for FEMA, and if there's no FEMA left, then there would be nothing to do for.
Right.
That's true.
So I guess the question is, do they get the bill after 8 hours or do they get the bill like?
Due to an event that qualifies for FEMA disaster assistance.
Speaking to what you said, if FEMA is called, it means that there's probably something bigger going on. And if we are the controlling party, I think it's only fair that they would get reimbursed for some of that after 8 hours that, wouldn't be coming from the city of Pine City, would be coming from the federal government. So, and to Dan's point, call it FEMA today. Don't know what we can call it in the future, but that will have to take another look, I guess, if the name changes, or maybe there'll be something that says FEMA now operating as something else. But I think it's only fair. I don't have a problem with that.
Portion.
I don't understand in that portion, sorry, where it says, that it has to continues for more than 8 hours, do an event that qualifies for FEMA. Understand if they mean and or by how they're writing one.
So the first time I read this, I read it as, if we have them for more than 8 hours, paying them for anything above and beyond that 8 hours. The second time I read people will pay it and then we'll get that disbursement. So I
just did the same thing, that's why.
which wouldn't be opposed to, if they're here for 8 hours, I wouldn't be opposed to paying that. Again, that's kind of where my mind is at. So.
Well, if it continues for more than 8 hours. How many FEMA events have you had come in the last 10 years?
That we were part of up here, maybe 2, I suppose. direction of FEMA.
It would be nice to have a little clarification if they're only referring to FEMA or if they're referring to 8 hours. The 8 hour concept, I can't think of too many instances where it exceed 8 hours where we need that other entity, but it is something like that that's major. Wouldn't have a problem cutting that check either, so. It's pretty catastrophic for us. Unless you can think of anything, Tom, that might see these already start on fire.
Well, I mean, anything's possible, but I don't see that it'd be a very likely event, but instead of do, it's like I would like to see and or and or, you know? Because and or would be if it is over 8 hours or if it qualifies for payment. Reimburse them their money they're due, you know?
Seems chalked up to me.
Someone has, some suggestions, we could. That's needs to be a word spent.
You're talking about just replacing the comma with and or.
And taking out the word do.
So if we could propose that change to Rush City, and we could give authorization that if that change goes through, then we would sign the contract so that they would have fire protection assistance past April 1st. Otherwise, we'd have to wait until the next meeting, which is unlikely, but possible.
Makes sense to me if somebody wants to choose the wording.
The only other thing that I would like to have, or at least see on our side, is that I see that the contract ends on December 31st, 2025. I don't know that we want to get to the point where we're renewing contracts every 6 months, but they're gonna need to be able to make a decision. So if we have a difference in the change in rates, they need time to adjust to that and decide on their point. So it'd be nice to be able to send that to them at least 30 days, if not 60 days in advance, so that they can make the decision on whether or not they want to do this kind of a contract or want to just. Great. We can stick with the same end date, but if for whatever reason our rates change or whatever, and we
Yeah.
want to make an informed decision, I don't want to wait until December 31st because I'm trying something.
So
Rush City is also requesting an updated fee schedule with our most recent vehicle purchases. So I don't know if we need to take a look at that.
To your point, Kyle, if you look at under the duration section of the proposed contract, and you compare it to the one that's reviewed previously, or the one that the League of Minnesota Cities has on their website, it doesn't have a withdraw clause in that on this contract. I would see either one, but it's a normal thing to be in writing. You know, the contract is good until this date or for this many years or this many months upon execution. And then any party can withdraw from the agreement with 30 days written notice to the other party. That necessarily has to be in there. That was the only real difference that I noticed, except for that.
What are you thinking we should put a 60-day out clause?
Well, a 30-day out clause wouldn't be bad. I'm just thinking that they might want to have updated rates, say in October, when they're going through the budgetary process, or maybe even September, just so they know what to predict. Do we want to wait until December 31st to say, this is the new rates? Let's just hypothetical say for whatever reason are 4 times the cost. They might say, this isn't the best idea. I don't want to blindside them with that on the last day of the year, so I'd like to give them some time to review it and adapt. Right, information period. Correct.
How about even if we put a timeline on it, but say, we'll be notified, give ourselves a deadline of if we're going to change the rates. That we give ourselves a deadline and let them know, we'll notify them by, like you said, October 31st or something. And we could even put in there, no change, you know, or whatever, just respond that we reviewed it. We're looking at our budget.
You probably submit rates DNR. Don't you?
I'm right now working with going through the rates with the DNR. They're generally done this time of year. They're not done every year necessarily, but they're normally done in the early spring. Normally before the grass fires.
Just my, what would cause rates to change? New equipment, union contracts, like what?
We could decide to charge less. We could decide to match the DNR rates. The DNR rates do change every couple of years.
Looking for rationale that.
Yeah. What
I mean, I agree.
what would spawn a rate change? Sometimes that was driven by workers' compensation, sometimes equipment, sometimes cost of fuel. Again.
Any of those, but
Well,
generally across the board, our rates are matched with our DNR rates. Not generally, it's for the companies personally match it, but. So I don't know, and that's how it was instructed initially, was we were gonna match DNR rates. And so I guess, I don't know if we would keep adjusting with the DNR rates, and it's gonna be every couple of years, give or take. But to Kyle's point, I think, and to Gina's point, I think that you could put something in there that if you would notice that there's gonna be a price increase or decrease, and have it both ways, that we would notify by 15th September or something, I don't know, give them enough time to make it so that everybody's budget, so that it's not at the last moment.
we say September. In September. That's 30 or 32 years.
30. I know. I mean, we start our budget in June. So I don't know that, I think September 1 would be the latest I'd want to know about big changes,
So you want to stay in the office?
or by September 1.
Or it could even be a new point if this is only enforced till the end of the year. Then you got the chance at the end of the year to adjust your price, but it would be nice to have open communication with them so they're not blindsided with a positive or negative change to their budget.
I guess I like the September ones and some August 31st, September 1st kind of time frame that gives everybody an opportunity. So make any adjustments, should any adjustment. When we'll head out. Even setting a preliminary budget with them. Get ready there.
Where would you put that in duration?
Well, do you want a termination clause, a 30-day termination clause in there? I think it's smarter. Yeah. So that would, want duration.
It's normally the last sentence of the duration.
Where would you put?
It's not in our one though either. Number,
It's not.
We have a contract with that in, that line. You know, Tom?
I know that it's. I believe the one with Graham, I'd have to look, but I believe the one with Graham has a 30-day out clause. Yeah, Grantsburg has a 6-month out clause. Positive on more.
Get an out clause, do we think 3 days? is about fine?
Maybe 45. Again, the board's meant to make any necessary changes. Like,
Deal with council meetings soon.
Yeah, we can have for knee-jerk reaction on either party side, so.
Agreed.
Mutual aid agreement. Oh. Melanie just pulled up the mutual aid with Brook Park and it does have a under duration written notice of 30 days to withdraw from the agreement. There's a clause like that just with Brook Park.
Should we keep it uniform then, so we're not trying to keep track of 45 with so-and-so and 30 with them? Thank you for finding that.
When did
Yeah.
that one expire? Is it-
10 years.
2029.
Yeah.
So it's a 30-day written notice to the party or parties involved in the agreement.
we can set a new standard.
I was thinking the same thing, we did lengthen the. Everything to 45, but, well, I got some time to go on this. So.
Where would we put the rates for September 1st? That be in charges for our requesting parties, would that be distribution?
Typically, separate schedule. Oh,
And I get it. Like in item 7 underneath the charges, so. $5.
It's a 7.
No,
Oh.
they make it stop.
Oh, make a 7. Okay.
well, in our old one, it's just separate.
You see, it says like fee schedule and there's stuff in that attachment.
Like do a 7.
Mhm.
Number 3. Charges to requesting.
Oh.
We could possibly tie in.
Yep.
City. Conference date, grade schedule. Any grade changes must be notified by September 1st. From council. Someone can make a motion to approve the vote, discussed upon items of the agenda.
And then where was
I guess bear with me if I butcher this motion, correct me.
Rose be
I make the motion that we request Rush City, if we can change the comma and do and replace it with and or under charges to the requesting party by Rush City. Under item number 3, in the charges to the requesting party by Pine City, we had another line saying that we will submit rate changes by September 1st. Under duration, add a 30-day clause. Should this be accepted by Rush City, then the mayor and staff have the authority to sign the contract agreement. That's done. I still think it would be a good opportunity for us to get 45 days for each clause. That's my opinion. I like that opinion, since this is only going until the end of the year, that maybe we should have a conversation with everybody that has the 30-day clause currently. Be asking if we can change that in the 2026 year to change it up to 5 days. And see if they have any problems either.
Yeah, I like the idea of unifying them, a little bit more than Horn Road right now, but I would like the idea.
Now we've got a motion in a second. This seems to be a roll call.
The contract? Might as well.
Hi.
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
I will also vote yes.
What did we get on to say for the closed decision?
Second.
I'm sorry.
On the following portion of this meeting will be closed pursuant to Minnesota State 13. 0373.
I was reading it.
Where majority vote in by whole closed section of the
Thanks. The bill did you get? Oh, okay. And I can get you the copy. Thank you.
When nobody's around, Mrs. Betty, no, there's 30 days in September.
I'll make the motion that we go into closed session. And then we also need to outstate our name.